Link.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cool. All right. We are live here in Facebook land with Melissa. Melissa, what market are you in?
I do St. Louis, Missouri.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, I'm really excited to get speaking with you today. We'll kind of give a couple seconds, maybe a minute or two
Sure.
before people come in, and we'll kind of get to some questions and things like that. One thing I would love, if you are watching, if you can put where you're watching from down below in the comments, that would be awesome. Let us know. And feel free throughout the stream to put any questions, comments, observations, anything like that in the comments. We will respond in real time. And if you're watching this later, please also feel free to comment down below anywhere you're watching, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook or wherever. And Melissa and I will keep an eye on the comments even after this is live. So you can always ask questions anytime that you see this. So, Melissa, tell me a little bit about your market. Oh no, have we lost Melissa? Melissa, if you are able to hear me, we've lost you. Okay, now it's just me, so I'm going to sing and dance here on stream with y'all. We are talking to Melissa Young, who is the Savvy Agent in Missouri, and I'm sure she's going to pop back here any minute now. Maybe her connection died or something like that. And here we go. Man, technical difficulties going on here.
There we go. Yay. Can you hear me now? No. This is so bizarre. Still nothing?
I can hear you, but I don't know. I can't see you on the screen. Maybe things are lagging just a little bit.
That's so weird. I can see myself.
All right. If you are here and watching, please let us know if you can see both of us. Okay, Melissa, I can see you now.
Okay, good. Sorry about that.
It's a good way for us to prompt other people to comment. Thank you. Yeah, Alana popped in the office. She said, I can see her. I can see her. So maybe it was my computer.
Oh, no, I went off. Like, it went down.
Well, Paula, thank you for joining us from Florida. We really appreciate that, and we love working with you guys. Macy, thank you so much from Snow B&B in Gatlinburg. We can see and hear both of you. Maybe I should do this in the beginning of every stream and get people commenting. So if you are watching, please let us know where you're watching from. And again, if you have any questions. So Melissa, tell me a little bit about you and your market, where you're from, how you got started in short-term rentals, just the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, I'll try to make this short because I love to talk about this stuff and I could just go on all day. I am from St. Louis. It's where I live now for the past 25 years of my life. But the first 25 years, I lived in just a small town over in Illinois. So we would actually travel to St. Louis for our family vacations because it was a real easy drive, hour and a half we would be here. And I got started in short-term rentals right after COVID. I was really bored and I was on TikTok and just watching videos of people investing in short-term rentals, and I got FOMO and thought I needed to get into that. So I started learning and educating myself and saving up money. I actually became a content creator part-time on TikTok and saved all the money that I earned from that to buy my first short-term rental to put the down payment down. And so once I bought it and got it opened up, and within like 3 months I was hooked and knew I just needed to have more. So I started saving for more. I started co-hosting for other people. And this year I became a realtor strictly to help other people find amazing short-term rentals in this area because I love it so much.
That's amazing. What drew you to short-term rentals?
Like I said, just watching people on TikTok and the videos that they would show of these amazing properties and all of the amenities they would use. And I always personally would go to an Airbnb when I travel. I choose them over hotels every time. And so I thought, well, I'm a good customer. I might as well try my hand at being a host too.
It's one of the reasons I bought Airbnb stock in the IPO, because I was like, I use Airbnb so much, there's no way this could go wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think I've made any money on that yet, though. Brian Chesky, we're
time
watching.
In the market, right?
Yeah, that's right. So, okay, I think, and let me know if I'm wrong here, but I think that Missouri is kind of flying under the radar as a market for people. Would you call it an emerging market? Would you say it's flying under the radar? If so, what's the reason?
Yeah. And I think that's a great question because most people think of vacation markets as beaches and mountains, and they
That's
don't
true.
think of let's go vacation in the Midwest. But they fail to realize that we're centrally located and we have 8 states that border us. And so we are a road trip destination for so many families in the Midwest in those 8 states. It's nothing for them to grab the kids, grab a bag, get in the car, and within a few hours, they're here. And so many people travel here on road trips for spring break, for summer vacation with the kids. But not only that, we have so much to offer. We have a lot of businesses that come to town, conventions, sporting events, concerts. There's just so much to do that we get revenue all year round. And
Hmm.
so people that are sleeping on Missouri are really missing out on the potential here. And I think this is really the best time to get in because people aren't thinking of us. So we're not saturated yet. The prices are super affordable. Like it's just the best time right now to jump right in.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I definitely think we've seen some really interesting deals there for sure. So I think my question then is what surprises people when they like start looking at short-term rental opportunities there? Like what are people like, oh wow, I can't believe I haven't looked at Missouri yet.
Yeah, good question. I think number one would be how diverse the market is. I mean, you could have a log cabin on 10 acres an hour from the city, or you could have an amazing luxury home by one of our many wineries in the area that people travel to, or even a little historic row house downtown. So there's just so many different things that you can do. We're not just a beach house and that's all you get here.
Hmm.
There's a lot of opportunity to make money any way that you want with different guest profiles.
Okay, that's really cool. What is the best guest profile there, or is it just really a mix?
It is pretty much a mix, and it's never what you think it would be. Like when I bought my first one that was a cabin, I thought it would be all river floaters, but it's not. It's people coming just to never leave the property, just to get away from the city. So a lot of families, I think, would be at the top of the list if you're gonna pick one, because again, we're road trip heavy. So people are coming here because they have families with a lot of kids, and maybe they can't spend a lot of money on airfare. So this is a really good, affordable trip for them. And since they didn't spend a lot of money on airfare, they can spend more money on a really cool place to stay.
Yeah, I definitely agree that like more often than not, people are traveling because of the Airbnb. Like we're
Mhm.
seeing that so often, and I know you guys are seeing that too. And I really firmly believe that Airbnb is becoming highly experiential. I think there's always going to be this segment of like urban and things like that, but I really believe that it's likely that the hotel industry will win that game. People kind of thought that maybe it was kind of cool, like to stay in an apartment versus a hotel. I think people are seeing the opposite end of that right now. I think hotels are spending a lot of money to make their hotel experience feel a little bit more like that, but they are definitely never going to be able to replicate that feeling of like a 3 to 6 bedroom cabin or home that's well amenitized, and you cook and you sit by the fire and you have privacy and you have all these memories that you build. I think that hotels are a place you go to stay to explore the area, and I think that Airbnbs are a place you go to have memories with your family and explore the area as well. But I'm seeing more and more now where people are saying, I didn't want to leave. And everybody, bear with me if you hear my voice just a little bit different. My allergies this month are kicking my butt this year here in Asheville. And so I've pretty much lost my voice at this point. But I still wanted to dedicate some time to come talk to Melissa because it was that important, I think, that people learn about investing in Missouri. So, is there an area or region in Missouri that you think has seen like the most growth?
Mhm. Yeah, I think really the city in St. Louis. I guess I should specify because we have 2 major cities in the state. We have one on either end, but St. Louis is seeing a ton of growth right now just due to all of the tourism coming in. We have 3 major sports teams here. We have a lot of, like I said, business travelers. I had 4 pharmacists rent our city house a couple months ago. They were in town for a convention for 10 days. And
Hmm.
so that was an amazing opportunity for them to be able to settle in and cook their own meals and not have to eat out the whole time. And they loved it. And I loved when you said memories. Like so many people mentioned that in the reviews here about how many memories they made here with their families and they can't wait to come back and make more.
Yeah, that's amazing. So definitely that kind of city vibe and people coming to the area is kind of what's growing right now. Is that surprising to you, or did you expect that?
It actually is. Yeah. I really, It's funny when I talk to new investors, they're like, people come to St. Louis for vacation. I'm like, you'd be surprised. Very family oriented here. Almost every weekend for the last 2 months, people have been coming to town either for a family reunion or a wedding. So there's a ton of that stuff coming down here. So a lot of people, I think, even when they move away, they always want to come back for all of these events and they need a really cool place to stay. So let's give it to them.
Yeah. Is the population growing there or what's driving that?
It's more so, I think, just activities. Like they're really trying to build the downtown area. And I hate to say downtown because we're pretty spread out, actually. Like I don't even steer investors towards the actual downtown market. We're going a little bit outside of that because everything is so spread out. And so they've really been trying to put a lot of money into revitalizing everything and tourism and bringing more people in and getting them to realize that the Great American Road Trip isn't dead. You know, it's right here. You just got to get up and come.
Yeah, and what I'm looking at right now is the U.S. Census Bureau estimated that across the 15 counties in the St. Louis region, you've had your largest population growth since 2010. So it does seem like, more people are moving there. And when you have more people moving there, you're going to have things like weddings and family reunions
Mhm.
and those sort of events. People just come visiting to travel and see family. So I think that's really interesting for the area.
Yep. It's awesome. I love it. So
Yeah.
a little
So
biased.
overall, in all of Missouri, how has tourism evolved?
It's really interesting. Again, I came up here a lot when I was a kid, but I think people don't realize how much we have to offer. It's not just the city. We're the like I think we're the number one cave state. Maybe we have over 7,500 recorded caves. Many of them you can go into. We have
Wow.
tons of wineries. We're the leading producer of the Norton grape. Fun fact. So we
Okay.
have amazing wines here. Our wineries are just flooded with it. And then hiking, state parks, rivers. There's just so much to do. And so I think so many people again forget. I don't know what it is. You know, movies and things just kind of depict the city as kind of but there's so much beyond that that people need to come and realize. And I can't wait to share with everybody.
Yeah. So for out-of-state investors, what do they need to know before they jump into the market?
Definitely get together with someone local. The St. Louis city actually is really small. So you mentioned the 15 counties, right? We have the city and the county. And so all the municipalities act as their own government. And so you've got the city and they have their own rules and regulations, but then all of those other municipalities have different rules and regulations. And
Hmm.
so some of them allow STRs and some of them do not. And some of them do with restrictions and some let you do whatever you want. So it's really beneficial for you to get someone local that knows all of these ins and outs for you and can help steer you in the right direction.
Yeah. And it's really interesting. So a lot of times what I'll do on these is like pop up one of the data analytics platforms and for some reason it's not sharing. Oh, maybe now it's freezing again. Maybe it'll pop in here in a second, but I'm trying to show the AirDNA info for the area. And what's interesting to me is that annual revenue is up 11% year
Mhm.
over year. Occupancy rate is up 6% year over year. Average daily rates are up 5% year over year. And RevPAR overall is up 12% year over year. So, and AirDNA has this as a 94 out of 100 market score. That's really, really good. What do you think is leading to all of that? Like, why is it growing so much?
I think really just our cost of entry. You can get an amazing property for under $400,000 and you can put a little bit in there and get it going. We don't need pools here. They're only open 3 months out of the year. So you don't have to spend money on that. Instead, spend money on wowing them inside with accent walls or a really cool coffee bar or a fire pit outside. And
Hmm.
it doesn't cost much to make a really amazing space. And so therefore you don't have to charge a ton of money either. So I think then that's what attracts the visitors here is they can get a really cool, amazing, colorful, fun place with all of these amenities for a fraction of what they'd pay at the beach.
Yeah,
Nothing against the beach. It's just a different vibe here. Yeah.
it's a totally different vibe. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it is interesting, and it's interesting to see the numbers year over year. And I think that that points to an emerging market,
Mhm.
especially if a lot of people aren't looking there. This isn't like a Facebook viral, social media trendy market to invest in, which I
Yet.
like, right? And yet the numbers are up year over year. All the numbers are up year over year. So I think that that's really interesting and something worth taking a look. What are the average, and we might be bouncing around here a little bit, but what are the average purchase prices? Like what's the typical best home or property there to invest in?
So as far as the city goes, our sweet spot is between about 350 and 550. That's where I'm seeing the most return on that investment and the most, higher percentages of cash flow. The smaller houses are great, the 2, 3 bedrooms, but the cost for those versus what you can charge in rent just isn't doing the good math for us. That 350 to 550 gets you like a 4, 5, 6 bedroom, and that's where we're seeing the most win in. But that's the city. The rural markets, totally different story. The rural markets, you can get a little 2-bed, 1-bath cabin on 10 acres for $250,000 and kill it.
Yeah, that's amazing. So this is definitely a market where maybe a new investor can go, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
So if a new investor did go there, you could help them with the right contacts. You could help them kind of making sure that they go from closing to actually up and running, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, in fact, I probably talk too much to new investors because I'm so excited and I give them all of my secrets. I don't have any secrets, obviously, but I give them everything that I've done that's led me to 100% 5-star reviews. And so all of my contacts, all of my boots on the ground, they have access to all of my systems, and hopefully they'll be able to take it and run with it and do an amazing job here.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So it's definitely a place where new investors can come and do things pretty easily. And you operate in that market, right?
I do. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Very cool. Okay. So what else do we need to know about Missouri? What do you think, when it comes to guest experience, are people wanting there? Like what you said, you don't need a pool there. So what are people looking for there?
Fire. The Midwest people love their fire. So whether it's inside a cozy fireplace or outside, a fire pit or even a gas fire pit, 9 months out of the year, it's chilly. It can get chilly. And so you have a lot of opportunity to put in fire pits, and it doesn't cost much at all to do something like that. So that's really going to be a huge amenity, whether you're in the city or outside in the rural markets.
Mm-hmm.
But another really cool amenity that's highly sought after here that doesn't cost much, because pretty much you either have it or you don't, off-street parking. Again, all of those people are road tripping in. So they want a nice, secure place to put their car off the street, and you got off-street parking, you're elevated just from that alone.
Is it the larger houses that are doing a lot better, or the smaller houses, you think?
A little of both. Yeah.
Okay. Are they looking for something different than like bigger vacation rental markets like Florida or the Smokies?
I think just when you say something different, like when they come here, they really want like authenticity, cozy, comfortable spaces.
Yeah.
They don't. Yeah. I noticed that our top performers that do the best in this market, if you look at the furniture and you look at the way the spaces are decorated, they just have that cozy feel. Like it's almost like it's familiar, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it totally makes sense. It totally makes sense. And I think that is important, especially to the Midwest, right? They want to feel like they're at home.
Yeah.
Maybe every property doesn't need to look like Disney or a resort.
Yep, exactly. You hit it right on the head. They want it to feel like home for sure.
Yeah. So if it's more like feeling at home, then what amenities or design touches like tend to get the best feedback or reviews from guests?
So it's not really even your big amenities. Okay. So the most reviews I get on are how well appointed the places are. And that means USB chargers on top of every nightstand. So they don't have to fumble behind the furniture, right, for an outlet. Coffee bar with the syrups and the different flavors that they can do. A pen and paper. I cannot tell you how many times I've been to an Airbnb and could not find a pen and paper to make a grocery list or to keep score for the family card game at night. A little basket of office supplies goes a long way. Pre-pasted toothbrushes in the bathroom, floss picks, hair ties. How many? I know you don't know, but women, we always forget our hair ties and we got to put our hair up to wash our face. Little things like that. The guests do not clean you out. They take what they need, rarely, if ever, but they will mention all of this in the reviews. 80% of the time, someone will mention how well appointed. So it's like, if you can just spend a little bit of money and make your guests want for nothing, you're going to win here.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's basically just about making life a little bit more convenient for people.
Yes. Yep.
And if they're coming there to stay there, if they're coming there to use the property, it makes sense that forcing them to leave the property a bunch because you don't have maybe some of those little items is going to be more annoying for the guest experience. They're not going to create those sort of memories. You're not going to get those big 5-star reviews that you need, and then you're not going to rent the property as much. So
Exactly.
it sounds like a couple small changes, and I bet anybody could take this advice in any market they are, and really take this and run with it and increase their amount of 5-star reviews, increase their guest satisfaction, and probably do a better job hosting overall.
Yep, I 100% agree. And it's so easy to do. Like I said, it's very low cost.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What strategies can hosts use to make their listing stand out?
Photos, number one, right? You all know we're selling a photograph at the end of the day. And if the photos aren't shine, if they're not telling that story, if they're not giving them, telling them what to expect, you've lost them already. So high quality photos. I'm a huge fan of videos as well. I love doing video walkthroughs of every property. I don't care if it's a 2-bed, 1-bath, or if it's a 6-bed, 5-bath. Every single property is going to have that video walkthrough so that people know exactly what to expect when they get here. So I think that's number one. Don't skip out on photos.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And I think a lot of people forget that we are selling a guest experience. Sure, there's so much you have to do from the second somebody checks in, all the different things you have to offer. But ultimately, I think a lot of people forget that what actually gets those people in there is they went online, they looked at the photos, they looked at the description, and then they booked the property. And that's the step, right? That is the top of the funnel, right? So if we look at this like any other sales experience, it is the top of the funnel. And I think that that's really important. And it looks like, oh no, it says AirDNA was sharing now on my screen, but still not in
It
here
wasn't. No,
on the
you're good.
software. So, oh well, everything seems to be taking really long. So I'm glad that we're even live in here and people are able to watch right now, which is good. Okay, so what does pricing look like then in terms of ADRs, occupancy? Like what can people expect there?
Yeah, good question. Again, you have great questions today, Tyler. It's all over the board, whether you're in the city or the county or the rural markets. And I do get this question from investors a lot. That's kind of their first question is, what can I expect to make here? And I said, it's really just going to depend on what it is. So let's just take an example. I'll give you my first rental, which is the 10-acre log cabin out in the woods, about an hour from the city. I get anywhere from, in the winter, I'm going to rent it a little bit lower, 125, 150 a night, just to kind of fill it. In the summer, I'm going to get 300 a night. So anytime or anywhere in within that range throughout the year is pretty good. If you come to the city house, we have a 4-bed, 3.5-bath that does amazing. In the summer, we'll get 600-700 plus a night. And in the winter right now, we're renting it for 225.
Okay. So what role, well, I guess we talked about that a little bit already, the role of professional photos, but are there, okay, so this is a good one. Are there any common mistakes that people are making specifically in Missouri? Like what are people doing wrong there? Because, and then the reason that I like to talk about this is because this is where the edge is, right? Like this is where when you go into a market, you figure out what is your competition doing, and especially looking at what they're doing wrong. It's important to look at what they're doing right as well to figure out how you can beat that. But looking at what they're doing wrong, that's the low-hanging fruit, and figuring out how to solve those problems. So what experience or what thing aren't Missouri hosts currently doing that your clients can come in and actually do that would kind of put them in that top 10% of the market? We're always talking about how to get in the top 10%.
I love that you asked this question because I have this conversation with my investors daily. I am looking at comps every single day. I'm in so many Airbnb, VRBO links looking at these properties. And as you can tell, the AirDNA data kind of gives us an idea of what they're making. And the ones that are underperforming are basic. Lots of white walls, lots of simple furniture. I hate to say bed in a bag sets, just things that don't just scream luxury and FOMO and I have to stay there. So $400 or $500, I've done a few in my city house. It's $400 or $500 a bedroom. You could throw in an amazing accent wall in there and really jazz that photo up, right? Again, we're selling those photos. So let's jazz that photo up to get the booking to begin with. And then when they get here and they can take tons of Instagram pictures, that's a win for the guest. And so accent walls, ChatGPT, you taught me that a few months ago. You're like, put that picture in ChatGPT and get some ideas that way. I've been doing that with my investors to kind of show, here's what you can take today and what you could make it look like tomorrow with a few $100s. So just get those listings and take them from boring and basic to amazing. And I hate to keep saying this, but it's not going to cost that much.
Yeah. If you are, by the way, not using ChatGPT to help you work on renderings, ideas, designs for your short term rentals, you are missing out. We are very heavy into AI at Savvy. I certainly can't say like we're the best, but we focus on it a lot. I talk about it a lot with our agents, and we teach each other tips and tricks and different things to do. And it was funny because I was sitting down with Ashita, and she comes up with really photorealistic renderings of her designs. She's probably the best. I mean, it's amazing. You would think that she takes the design once it's done and turns it into a cartoon photo because it's that on point. And obviously it's not. She takes, this like rendering, this cartoon rendering, and turns it into the room, and everything is exactly placed. And that's one reason that her designs are done so well, is because they are exact. And it was funny because I was sitting with her. We bought a new property we haven't really announced yet. Some people may know, some people may not. And we were working on retheming some things. And in real time, I was ChatGPTing different places on the property and saying like, oh, we should do this. Let's put a slide here. ChatGPT, go put a slide in here and put some cool like stuff on the roof and like do some cool amenities and put some putt-putt in there. And then like 15 seconds, it comes across, and it's a most amazing photo. It's
Mhm.
actually so good. And and she is like thinking like, am I going to be out of a job soon? Like it's amazing what it can do. And so if you're not utilizing AI for that, you're seriously missing out. And these are the types of tools that a savvy agent will have, right? I just want to do a quick like shameless plug for what the difference is between a regular agent and a savvy agent. Like this is what you're going to get, is these sorts of ideas, this sort of help. We don't just help you like find the property and put it under contract and like get through inspections. Like we're there to help you make that a really successful property. Because here's what I know being in Asheville is that honestly, like I'll give you a good example. Some guy the other day, he said, what's the realtor stake in how well that property does? Well, let me pair that with another question that a different investor asked me a few years ago. Why are you so altruistic? Why are you doing all these things? Are you just some sort of saint? No, I'm not a saint. This is my career. I'm here to make money. I have found that over time, I actually make way more money from repeat clients and working with them over and over than I do having to go out and attract new clients. In fact, that's
Mhm.
probably the thing I don't like the most about this business, is having to try to attract and find new clients all the time. I would much rather work with my friends, people that I've developed really good relationships with. And so I really want you to be successful. And every savvy agent we have passed that on to. And so it's crazy important to us that you do well. In fact, we certainly believe that if you do well later, when you come back to sell that property, the property is going to be worth more. It's going to be a lot easier to sell. And very likely, if that property has done really well, we're also going to be able to bring the buyer. So we are in it with you just as much as you are. We do have a stake in your success because we are not just looking at you as one transaction or just working with you one time. We want you to become part of our family. And we have seen that so many times this year. I know I'm now getting off on this massive tangent, but we have seen this so many times. I just got off the phone with Farah, our agent in Pinellas County in Florida. And she said that she, over the weekend, while she was at a wedding, because that's when you put houses under contract, of course, as an agent, um, she wrote an offer and got it accepted for a client of ours that has already bought something in the Poconos with Michael Klein. And Kara said she loves Savvy. She loves it. And that is the coolest thing to hear. So, like, if
Mhm.
people think that we don't have a stake in your success, it is the total opposite. We care more about your success than one transaction, because it will want, and it's not altruism. Like, we are all good people. We do care about your success, but like we have a stake in it. It's our career. And that's how we grow our business as well, is we do stake our name on your success. So it's important to us as agents. So sorry for going off on a massive tangent there.
No, you're speaking 100% facts, and not only that, like everybody here at Savvy, I've noticed we all understand that there's enough for everybody to go around. There's such an abundance, and we all want all boats to float. So there's no competitive. Even when I'm taking investors to houses blocks away from one that I manage in the city, and they're going to be a direct competitor of mine, I'm telling them everything that I recommend they do to make it a success, because there's enough business or in this town, especially for everybody.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that that's really cool. One thing that I really love about Savvy, like, um, let's say that client I just talked about working with Kara was working with Michael maybe to find a second one. I know in my heart, and I've not asked Michael this, but I know in my heart because I do this and I know all of us do this, he is cheering her along
Mhm.
in her success in Seminole. And I know that in my heart because I know the heart of all of our agents and I know how much it matters to us that our clients succeed. So even if he didn't work with her, or even if she didn't work with him on that second one, he is cheering for her success. I'm cheering for her success, the client's success, and I know all of us are, and that's what makes Savvy a little bit different. And we didn't mean to get off on this tangent or like we're tooting our own horn or anything. Like we're passionate about this because we
Yeah.
love our repeat clients. Like it means the world to me, and it's really why I built Savvy. So to hear that it's all working and people are happy and they love it is like the coolest thing to me. Okay, we'll go back to Missouri.
Yeah. No
Um,
worries.
so we talked about what are some ways that we as agents encourage our clients to come back again and again, and the number one marker for that is success. What is the number one way that you're encouraging, and you're a manager as well,
Mhm.
so how are you encouraging guests to come back again and again? And is this any different in Missouri than it is anywhere else?
I don't think so. I mean, because again, I look at my experiences as a traveler and the Airbnbs I stay at and what would make me want to come back and what wouldn't. And my number one thought first is what was the experience I had when I was there? Again, could I find a pen and paper if I needed it? Was there a hook in the bedroom for my wet towels or did I have to like stick it on a bed? Like little things like that are what leaves the biggest impression for me. And then number two, staying top of mind.
Hmm.
I easily can forget places. So get an email funnel. The day your guest checks out, have an email sent to them automatically thanking them for their stay. Here's a 10% off your next visit. Here's our direct booking website. A few weeks later, email them again. Hey, on your next trip to Missouri, here are 6 amazing restaurants to try. Or a few months later, hey, did you hear about these great hikes that are available at the state park? It doesn't have to all be salesy. It
Mm-hmm.
can just be little drop in little gems like here's how you can live like a local and stick a couple salesy ones in there. And I think staying top of mind throughout, I have an email funnel that goes out almost a year, and 12 emails go out in that time. So it's not like we're spamming them with a lot of
Sure.
stuff, but it just keeps them, again, I'm staying top of mind. I'm introducing other properties. If they liked me as a host at the city house, you're going to love me as a host at the country house.
Yeah. How are you collecting those emails? What's the best way?
So when they check in, StayFi is the best way.
Yeah.
It's just like a hotel. When you jump on the Wi-Fi, you have to sign in, you have to put your information. StayFi allows you to do that at all the properties. So instead of just getting the booking person's email, you're going to get every guest's email that comes. But then I also have software. I personally love OwnerRez, so I capture all of the information as soon as they book.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're really detailed in your business. So we've talked about like how to turn those one-time travelers into loyal and repeat customers. So like, um, if you had to pick an upgrade in a property, like if you had to say, okay, here's a budget, here's something that most people don't have, what is that upgrade in, like, how do you think it improves the actual ROI?
That's an interesting question. Like I said, off-street parking in the city, fire no matter where you go, pets. I think pets. If you allow pets, you're going to elevate over 60% of the people in this market are searching for pet friendly places.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of that's attributed to this being a road trip heavy market. And so if they're coming in the car, they can just bring their furry family members with them. But it's not just offering a pet friendly stay, put a few dollars behind it. I offer pet cots. I have food and water bowls. I have a basket of frisbees and tennis balls there for the animals, pet wipes. We have a dog poo bag station outside.
Mm-hmm.
And then little fake fire hydrant if needed, just to make it fun.
Yeah.
But then another thing I do is the day after they book, an email when they're filling out my rental agreement that I require, I have them list their pets' names.
Mm-hmm.
And then an email gets sent to them the next day addressed to their pet from my pet, talking about all the cool stuff that's there for them, all the amenities that they're going to get to hang with,
That's
all of the fun,
amazing.
right?
That's
I'll send it to
really
you.
cool.
It has links to like the places, the restaurants where pets are welcome to go with their humans.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's got a picture of my pet on the property's porch on the little cot. So it just really
That's
personalizes
probably
it. Yeah, I get a lot of people reply back to that email going, this is the neatest thing ever.
that's the best I've ever heard, honestly. And I've never heard anyone say that tip before, and in an industry that's really, really maturing. I think that is something that people can hold on to, and it's probably something that they can do really easy. So I have to thank you for sharing your kind of custom tidbit there,
Yeah.
right? Like your like private way that you do well. And I think this is a testament to who you are as a person, and as an advocate for your clients, that you want them to succeed as well as you are, and with the creative things you've personally come up with. So, okay, kind of wrapping up here. Why should investors give Missouri like a serious look for 2025, 2026?
It's early. I've just started to explode this market and get the word out of how amazing it is. And I think with the pricing that we have now, our appreciation rate's between 5 and 6%. And so we're not saturated. People are sleeping on us.
Mm-hmm.
So get in here now while it's early, because if I have my way and I get on social media enough, like I'm trying to scream from the rooftops how great it is here. In a couple of years, I plan for this market to be a whole different look. And so let's get in now. And so then in a couple of years, just think of what your property is going to be worth at that point.
That's amazing. Okay. What do you think? What's your best piece of advice that you'd share with somebody that is just starting to explore Missouri?
Join owners groups and learn. That's what I did for 10 months before I bought my place. I was being picky. I just joined all the owners groups and I just watched and I learned and I read what people were saying. But here's the thing, though, when you do that, you have to understand people don't go into an owners group and go, I had the best guest.
Mm-hmm.
They never do that. They go into owners group and they complain about their guests, but that's okay. We're going to use that. And we're going to learn from that. And we're going to read the comments and we're going to get tips and tricks from other people in those comments. And we're going to have assembled of best practices before we even sign the paper to buy that house. And so as soon as you get the house, you're already ready with all these ideas and you can just go.
Amazing. Okay. Well, this has been really great. Melissa, how can people get a hold of you? Like, what is the next step? What does that look like? How do people get started working with you?
Yeah, so I think it's running across the bottom. My email, melissa@savvy.realty. You could book a call with me, savvy.realty/Melissa, or hopefully we'll drop it in the comments a little later as well.
Yeah, we definitely will. And what does that look like? What does that process look like? If somebody gets on a call with you, what do you do on that first call? And then how do people work with you after that?
So we're going to ask questions. What are your goals? What do you want to get out of coming to this market? Tax benefits? Do you want to focus on the guest experience? Like, what do you want to do? And then we'll go from there. What's your budget? And then I have a list of properties. Every day I'm looking at properties and I will run the numbers initially. And if the numbers look good, I drive personally to all of them. And I go inside as many as I can. I take video tours if they're vacant and I can get right in. If they're not vacant, I just at least check out the outside to kind of see from the guest's lens, like, is the street in transition? Would I feel happy with my family here? Can I take my Instagram pictures here? What have you? And I make notes of everything. And then once you and I talk, if you want to look a little further, we'll have to sign a buyer's agreement. And then once that's in place, I can send you my video tours and we can start talking and really dive deep into the numbers and find the perfect one for you.
Amazing. Well, Paula had a quick question here before we end, and I hope that she's still watching. What are your thoughts on the Branson market? How far is that from St. Louis?
So Branson's about 3.5, 4 hours from St. Louis. I personally love them. I got married down there, so I have a soft spot in my heart for Branson. It's and my kids and I spent a ton of time there when we were younger. I personally don't invest there because it's a little far. I like to be a little closer just because I like to go once a month and check on my houses and make sure I'm there. But as far as an investment standpoint goes, it's a really good market. Tons of stuff to do.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Well, that sounds good, Melissa. It was so good to hang out with you today, and thanks for letting me go off on a tangent like I normally do. And thank you for your tidbit. I would say probably the most impactful thing for me was talking about your tidbit with the pets. I think that that's really impactful. I firmly believe that Airbnb should allow pets. We travel with our pets. We want other people to travel with their pets. We believe it's part of the memory and part of the experience. And I just think that that's so important. And a lot of that revenue, by the way, is also left out of a lot of revenue numbers on things like AirDNA and all these other data platforms, which I think is a conversation enough people don't have. And I think that there is other ways that drives revenue. I think if their pets are coming, it creates longer stays. I think if people are away for 3 days, if they bring their pets, they may stay for 4, they may stay for 5. And obviously they're paying that pet fee. So, and then you are making an actual experience in and of itself by kind of creating this relationship between your pet and their pet in their mind, right?
Yeah, yeah.
introducing them, but it is creating this extra layer, and that's all adding to the guest experience and guest satisfaction. And I don't think any of those things that I just said could be looked at in any other way than as positive.
Yeah, and not only that, longer stays, I absolutely agree with you, but just a stay in general. If I'm going to spend, what does it cost to board your pet now? $50 a night or more?
Yeah.
If I'm going to spend money on a place that can let me bring my pet and I don't have to pay that, I'm in.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. Well, amazing. Thank you for hanging out today, Melissa. And Melissa's contact information is down below. It'll also be in the chat. And then we will keep an eye on the comments. And yes, Paula, absolutely. You can reach out to Melissa
Yeah.
for the St. Louis market.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thanks for
everybody.
letting me share Missouri.